Blue Ridge Mountains whisper in the dark, and the coastal plains sigh with echoes of lives long gone. In North Carolina, beauty and terror often walk hand in hand. Behind the rolling hills and sleepy towns lie stories. No map will warn you about phantom lights that follow travelers, abandoned houses that breathe when the wind is still, and graveyards where shadows linger longer than they should. Tonight, we step off the safe roads and into the haunted heart of the Tar Heel State. Keep your lantern close, you'll need it. 1. The Great Smoky Mountains, Western North Carolina. The Smoky Mountains are known for their breathtaking beauty, but beneath the mist and forests lies a darkness that has haunted travelers for centuries. Locals will tell you the mountains are alive, and sometimes they do not welcome you. Stories abound of hikers who vanish without a trace, their campsites left intact, fires still smoldering. Search parties claim to hear voices calling from the trees, sometimes even mimicking the names of the missing. The sound draws rescuers deeper into the woods, only to end in silence. Some never return. Cherokee legends warn of spirits dwelling in these mountains, creatures that take human form but whose shadows move independently, betraying their true nature. Others speak of the Spearfinger, a witch with a stone body and a finger sharp as a blade, who roams the ridges in search of hearts to devour. At night, she whispers in familiar voices, luring victims closer. Travelers have reported phantom lights moving through the fog, like lanterns carried by ghostly guides. Hunters tell of footsteps trailing them for miles, though no one can be found, and campers speak of waking to find strange symbols carved into trees near their tents, as though something was marking its territory. The Smokies are a place of wonder, but also of warning. Step carefully here, for you may not walk alone. The mists conceal more than trees, they conceal eyes watching, footsteps following, and a silence too heavy to belong only to the forest. 2. The Old Davis Hospital, Statesville, North Carolina. Few buildings inspire more fear than abandoned hospitals, and the Old Davis Hospital in Statesville is no exception. Built in the early 20th century, this medical facility once treated thousands of patients before closing its doors in the 1980s. Since then, it has become a playground for the dead. Those who have dared to enter describe long, empty hallways echoing with phantom footsteps. Wheelchairs roll on their own, doors slam without warning, and faint cries filter through the walls, sounds no living patient makes. Paranormal investigators have captured eerie recordings, voices calling for nurses, whispers begging for help. Former staff members tell stories of seeing shadow figures in operating rooms, standing where countless patients once took their last breaths. Visitors feel icy drafts rush past them, as if unseen gurneys are still being wheeled down the corridors. One terrifying account came from a group of explorers who swore they heard the beeping of a heart monitor, though the hospital has been powerless for decades. The sound grew louder, then stopped abruptly, leaving them in suffocating silence. The Old Davis Hospital has been called one of the most haunted places in North Carolina for good reason. It isn't just the decay or the history that unsettles you, it's the overwhelming sense that the suffering never ended. The patients may have died, but their cries still linger, echoing through walls that refuse to forget. 3. Teach's Hole, Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. The waves crash hard along Ocracoke Island, but beneath the roar of the ocean is another sound, one far older. and far more sinister. This is Teach's Hole, the cove where the infamous pirate Blackbeard met his bloody end in 1718. And according to locals, he never left. When British forces finally cornered Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, on this stretch of water, the battle was vicious. After being shot and stabbed dozens of times, Blackbeard was decapitated, his head taken as proof of victory. But his body, legend says, rose and swam around the ship 3 times before sinking into the deep. To this day, sailors and fishermen swear they've seen his headless ghost wandering the shoreline, lantern in hand, searching for something he can never reclaim. On stormy nights, phantom lights appear just above the waves, bobbing as though carried by an unseen crew. The winds here carry more than salt, they carry voices, laughter, and curses from another age. Some visitors claim they've felt a crushing sense of dread standing near the water, as though the pirate himself was looming just behind them. Others report hearing the heavy thud of boots on sand, though no one is in sight. Ocracoke's beauty is undeniable, but its shadow belongs to Blackbeard. If you walk the shore at dusk, you might see him, a towering figure with no head, his ghostly steps echoing forever in the place where he died. 4. The Grove Park Inn, Asheville, North Carolina. Luxury hotels often hold secrets, but few are as unsettling as the Pink Lady of the Grove Park Inn. This elegant resort, built in 1913, has entertained presidents, celebrities, and dignitaries. Yet among the grand stone walls, a ghost has made herself a permanent guest. She is called the Pink Lady, named for the rose-colored gown she wears. Her story begins in the 1920, when she allegedly fell or was pushed from the balcony of room 545, plummeting to her death in the atrium below. Since then, countless guests and staff have reported her presence. Children seem most sensitive to her spirit, claiming a kind lady in pink plays games with them or tucks them in at night. Adults describe sudden cold drafts in warm rooms, or waking to see a glowing pink mist hovering at the foot of their bed. Some have caught glimpses of a woman walking through hallway, only to vanish as quickly as she appeared. Though she is not considered malevolent, her presence is unsettling. One guest, waking at 3 a.m., described hearing soft laughter and seeing a faint light moving along the balcony. When he investigated, no one was there yet. The smell of roses lingered. The Grove Park Inn thrives on luxury and comfort, but its most famous guest is eternal. Would you spend the night in room 545 knowing the Pink Lady might be waiting to keep you company? 5. The Battleship North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. Steel groans against the tide, and the mighty silhouette of the battleship North Carolina rests on the Cape Fear River. But though its guns are silent, the ship is far from empty. During World War II, sailors lived and died aboard this vessel, and their presence lingers still. Visitors on tours report footsteps echoing through the metal corridors when no one is there. Doors slam in compartments locked tight. Shadows drift across the deck, shaped like men in uniform. One recurring spirit is said to be a young soldier who died in an onboard explosion. Guests have seen him darting around the passageways, always in a blur, as though reliving his final moments. Others claim to hear voices in the radio room, the faint crackle of transmissions from another time. Paranormal investigators have captured chilling evidence, disembodied whispers, strange knocks, and even phantom hands reaching out in photographs. One staff member admitted that late at night, while locking up, he heard a full chorus of footsteps marching in rhythm above him, only to find the deck deserted. Walking the battleship is like stepping into a grave made of iron. The air tastes of rust and salt, and every sound reverberates through the hollow chambers. You realize you're not just touring history, you're trespassing in someone's eternal barracks. And they do not rest easily. 6. The Great Dismal Swamp, North Carolina coast. The name alone is enough to send shivers. The Great Dismal Swamp, stretching across North Carolina and Virginia. It is a place of impenetrable wilderness, mist-thick air, and shadows that seem to breathe. But its beauty hides centuries of haunting. The swamp has swallowed entire settlements. In the 1700s, runaway slaves and outlaws carved secret lives deep within its marshes, never to be seen again. Some believe their spirits still wander, protecting the land they claimed as their sanctuary. Hunters tell of hearing voices calling out through the reeds, voices that vanish when approached. Campers describe glowing lanterns drifting across the black water, as if ghostly guides still patrol the swamp's hidden paths. Legends say the Lady of the Lake haunts one of its waters. She is a pale figure dressed in white, forever searching for her lost lover. Those who see her shimmering form claim she beckons them to the water's edge, her eyes filled with sorrow. And if you follow, you may never return. The air in the swamp feels heavy, pressing against you, damp with something more than water. The cries of birds echo strangely, distorted as though mocking. And always, there's the sense that something moves beneath the surface, waiting. Few dare to venture far because in the Great Dismal Swamp, the living and the dead are equally lost. Lydia's Bridge, Jamestown, North Carolina. It's a rainy night, and you're driving down US Highway 70 near Jamestown. The road bends, and an old stone bridge looms ahead. Out of the mist, you see her, a young woman, drenched and pale, waving for help. If you stop, she climbs into the back seat and whispers her name, Lydia. She gives you directions to her home, but when you arrive and turn to speak, the seat is empty. This is the legend of Lydia's Bridge, one of North Carolina's most famous ghost stories. Locals say she died in a car crash in the 1920s, stranded on the roadside in her white dress, waiting for help that never came. For nearly a century, countless drivers have claimed to encounter her, always young, always desperate, always vanishing before dawn. Some who've stopped say the air grows icy inside the car. One man described hearing the sound of water dripping, though the rain had stopped. Another swore that when he looked in the rearview mirror, her reflection stared back at him, hollow-eyed, until she disappeared in a shimmer of headlights. The bridge itself is abandoned now, swallowed by vines and time. But even though traffic no longer flows over its stones, people still come hoping to glimpse Lydia, to prove the story true. Or perhaps just to tempt fate, because if you see her, you'll carry the image forever, a lonely bride of the road, still waiting for a ride home that never comes. 8. The Ghosts of Biltmore Estate, Asheville, North Carolina. The grand halls of the Biltmore Estate shimmer with luxury and history, but beneath the chandeliers and manicured gardens lies a darker story. Built by George Washington Vanderbilt in the late 1800s. The mansion was once a symbol of wealth and sophistication. Now, it carries whispers of something else entirely. Visitors report hearing laughter echoing from empty rooms, as though parties long past continue behind closed doors. The library, filled with thousands of rare books, is said to be haunted by George himself, who appears in shadow near the fireplace, inspecting shelves only he can touch. His wife Edith has also been seen, wandering the corridors, her presence accompanied by the faint rustle of silk. Guests who stay overnight in certain areas speak of phantom footsteps trailing them, of doors closing softly in rooms left empty, and of a cold hand brushing their shoulder as they drift to sleep. A guard once confessed to hearing music swell through the ballroom at midnight when he opened the doors. The vast room was silent, save for the lingering scent of cigars and perfume. The Biltmore is alive with elegance, but its beauty is haunted. Perhaps it is simply memory echoing too strongly. Or perhaps the Vanderbilts never left, their spirits unwilling to abandon the empire they built. As you walk its gilded halls, the question lingers: who else walks beside you, unseen? 9. The Devil's Tramping Ground, Chatham County, North Carolina. Hidden deep in the woods is a barren circle, about 40 feet wide, where nothing grows. Locals call it the Devil's Tramping Ground, and for over 100 years, stories have warned people away. They say at night, the devil himself rises here to pace in endless circles, planning the world's destruction. The earth within the ring is lifeless. No plant dares to root itself there. Hunters and campers who have tried to spend the night in the circle never last. Many flee before dawn, claiming they heard heavy footsteps circling their tents or saw glowing eyes watching them from the tree line. Old stories tell of animals refusing to cross the circle, their bodies stiff with fear. A farmer once tried to tether his horse inside it. By morning, the rope was snapped, the horse found trembling miles away, and anyone foolish enough to leave objects in the circle finds them hurled violently outside by morning, as though unseen hands reject them. Standing there, surrounded by forest, the air feels wrong, like you've stepped onto a stage built for something that doesn't want an audience. Would you dare to place a foot inside, knowing centuries of legends claim the devil paces just beyond your sight? Whether it's cursed soil, natural anomaly, or the devil's nightly haunt, one thing is certain: the tramping ground is not a place you linger. It's a place you survive. 10. The Brown Mountain Lights, Burke County, North Carolina. Imagine standing on a ridge as the night settles in. The stars are clear above you, but down in the valley, strange orbs of light begin to float, dance, and vanish without sound. These are the infamous Brown Mountain Lights, mysterious glowing spheres that have haunted this region for centuries. The Cherokee once told of ghostly maidens wandering the mountains, their spirits glowing as they searched for lost warriors. Early settlers believed the lights were lanterns of fallen soldiers, still patrolling the hills long after death. And scientists, even today, can't fully explain why the phenomenon continues. Witnesses describe red and white and blue lights drifting like will-o'-the-wisps, sometimes darting across the horizon, other times rising into the air and fading like embers. Hunters claim the lights have followed them, weaving through the trees in deliberate pursuit. One man even swore that when he reached out, the light pulsed brighter, almost as if it acknowledged his presence. Would you stand on Wiseman's View, knowing countless others before you watched the mountain come alive with ghosts of light? Some leave convinced they've glimpsed nature's trick. Others leave with the cold certainty they've been watched by something older, stranger, and not entirely human. The brown mountain lights remain flickering warnings in the wilderness. Maybe they're lost souls. Maybe they're something worse. But when you see them, one thought will gnaw at you: they've seen you too. The shadows of North Carolina linger long after the stories are told. From glowing lights in the mountains to restless spirits on forgotten roads, these tales remind us that the past is never truly buried. It waits, watching, just beyond the edge of the firelight. As you turn off this video and the room grows quiet, ask yourself, which of these places would you dare to visit after midnight? And if you did, would you ever come back unchanged? If tonight's journey left your skin crawling, don't forget to like this video, share your own haunted encounters in the comments, and subscribe for more chilling stories every week. Because the darkness is wide, and we've only just begun to explore it.